Hello, folks. My name is Firdosh and I'm an amateur astronomer. Now, taking the first thing, what is astronomy? Astronomy is basically not only the study of the stars, but the study of the entire universe that we can see. It comes from the Greek astron, meaning star, and nomia, meaning law or culture. And it literally means law of the stars. Now, most people, especially city dwellers, who are deprived of dark sky and stare at the dark skies in wonder when they're in the country and far away from civilization. In a dark sky, the multitude of stars can be seen, and in some cases, it would appear that the entire sky is carpeted with stars. Very often, even first-time observers cannot help but notice what is known as a band of stars called the Milky Way. This is really one of the most beautiful sights that you can see in the night skies, and often it is a trigger that leads to lifelong love of astronomy and at times to a satisfying career studying our universe. So what can you expect to really see in the night sky? When you look up in the night sky, especially in the dark side, you will find that the sky is carpeted with stars and it is at times quite a bewildering sight. In common parlance, anything that you see in the sky will be termed a star, except for a few things like maybe the moon or the comets. In reality, what you are looking at is not only the stars, you are looking at the planets, you're looking at stars, galaxies, globular clusters, variable stars, and many, many other objects. So, what are dark sites and what is the best time for observation? A dark site is any site that is far away from lights of the city, town, or village. The reason this is important is that observation of stars in the night sky is done in the dark. The darker the sky, the better. The reason for that is starlight is very, very dim, and any other light coming in will actually render the light of the star invisible. So normally, the night of the new moon, or a few days before and after, would be the best time to look at the night sky. And this is one of the reasons why many astronomy clubs take star parties, as they are called, to places outside the city, to darker sites as much as they can manage. Now, coming to what are the different forms of observation. The most common mistake that beginners make is to equate astronomy with telescopes. They think that without owning a telescope, they cannot do amateur astronomy. Actually, nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, owning a telescope right in the very beginning could be counterproductive. It is only once you actually come to know what it is that you are looking at that a telescope becomes important. So the first thing is you must be able to find your way around the dark skies. Once you have done that, then you can perhaps think of going for telescopes. Sometimes what you may find that binoculars may help, but you need to have binoculars which are something like 10 by 50. This number 10 by 50 is mentioned on the binoculars. 10 means magnification, and the 50 is nothing but 50 centimeters, which is about 2 inches, which is the diameter of the lens. Now, when you are using any binocular, generally when you hold it like this, you will not be able to hold it steady enough. What will happen is you will start shaking even slightly. But even a slight shake in a 10 by 50 binocular will be magnified 10 times. So you will not be able to see the star, you will just find it shimmering. So even if you are going to use a binocular, use it with a proper mount. So with these few words of introduction, we will go on to the next part of the program. Now I'm going to give you an introduction to constellations and how you can get a little more information regarding the night sky. Now, constellations are basically nothing but imagined patterns in the sky. As we have seen before, there are myriad stars in the sky, thousands of stars, and they seem to be at random. But the ancients noticed that there were certain stars which formed a particular pattern, and those were known as constellations. They ascribed mythological figures to that pattern, and those evolved into what we call today constellations. There are 88 constellations that are recognized internationally today. Some of them are visible throughout the year, some are visible at certain times of the year, and some of them, based upon your latitude, cannot be observed at all. So it is important to note that all the constellations will not be visible in the sky at the same time. They will be there over a period of time, either during the winter months or in the summer months, or they will be there during the early part of the evening and the later part of the evening. It is the earth which is moving, which is rotating, and because of that rotation, we feel that it is in fact the stars that are moving. The stars will appear to move from east to west. Now, when we are looking at the sky, we normally start around dusk and up to dawn, so which is around, let us say, 7:30 in the evening till around 6 in the morning. And you will start seeing the sky, certain constellations rising and certain of them setting. The most common constellations which are there in the skies, which are very evident and the most commonly known, are the 12 zodiac signs, starting all the way from Aries and going through to Pisces. These will be visible at certain times of the year. For example, in this month or in the early winter months, we can observe Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and even Libra. The other major constellations which are there are Orion, Canis Major, Canis Minor, Auriga, Ursa Major or Great Bear, Hydra, Crater, Bootes, Hercules, Lyra, and Ophiuchus. There are plenty of others, and you can also see the beautiful open cluster which is called Pleiades, commonly known as Seven Sisters. Now, the constellations, like I said, is basically an imagined pattern in the sky which connects various stars. Now, it is better if you know which are the major or the brightest stars in each of the constellations. They are Rigel and Betelgeuse in Orion. You have in Canis Major, you have Sirius, which is the brightest star in the sky. You have Procyon in Canis Minor, and you have Capella in Auriga, Lyra in Vega, and so on and so forth. So it is better if you know them, because these are the stars which you can see even from the city, and in the dark sky they will appear really very beautiful. Ancients noticed that there are certain stars which seem to move much, they seem to be different, they seem to move differently, and they call them planets, which is wanderers. Now, you will see some certain planets as well, and they are, at the moment, the brightest one you will see is Mars, which is roughly overhead today, in the early part of the evening. Now, it is all very well to say that go outside and look at constellations, but then how do you actually know which is a constellation when you start out? So the way to do that, there are three ways of doing that. One of them is to use the star charts. The second is to use what is known as a planisphere, and the third, which is very common today, is the app, using various apps. So the first one is the sky map or the star charts. So where do you get those from? Those will be available from various sites on the internet. You can get them from the sites of the magazines, from sites of planetarium, and there are many sites on the website which will give you, for every month or even from a particular day of the year, they will give you for your location which are the ones you can see. The second is a planisphere. A planisphere is nothing but a device which it is a sort of a cardboard device All you have to do is set the time of the day of the year and the time of the day. Once you set that, there will be a window in which you can see all the constellations in the sky. It is very easy to use and it is readily available. The third one is using of apps. Now, there are plenty of apps which are available. It is not important which is the app you use, as long as you are comfortable with it. Those apps which are there will give you much information, and they will tell you in the phases of the moon, if there are any celestial events which are of interest to any astronomers. There will be any number of information which is given to you. The only thing with the app is that you have to be familiar with it before you go out for observation. Trying to learn how to work an app in the dark is not a lot of fun. So if you can just look at the star maps, if you can look at a planisphere, or if you can look at your apps, you will definitely get all the major constellations in the sky, and you will be able to plan your entire night of observation if you so wish. So with that, I will wish you happy viewing and clear skies.